like a shocking amount of leaks and rumors out there about Spider-Man right now. This has to do with Spider-Man 4 with Tom Holland, Spider-Man 4 with Toby Maguire, the future of Andrew Garfield's story, and it has to do with Secret Wars, the collapsing of the multiverse, and how the multiverse is still going to exist after Secret Wars because of Sony. These updates are already crazy enough on their own, but when you combine them with other rumors and things that we've been hearing about for years, it gets even more insane. Because I've been doing this and following this stuff literally for a job for the past 6 years, I can explain all of this. And that's what we're gonna do in this video. I also want to mention that there is a second chance Kickstarter for my comic book Unity going on right now. So if you missed the first Kickstarter, this is a chance for you to get in on Unity and pre-order a copy of the book for when it ships later this year. And if you want to try it before you buy it, there is an option to read the first 45 pages of Unity for $1. But I'll talk more about that in a minute. Okay, so the first thing we need to talk about in this video is Spider-Man 4 with Tom Holland. And there have been major updates over the past month when it comes to this movie, Sony and Marvel. It was reported by insiders in early February that there was a division between Sony and Marvel, that they had not actually completed the script for Spider-Man 4. Part of the reason why is because Sony wants to do multiversal stuff. They want Andrew and Toby in the film, while Kevin Feige and Marvel Studios want Spider-Man 4 to be more grounded. There's also a report that Sony wanted Kevin Feige to sort of rush this movie out, to get this movie out in 2025, and the reports were that Kevin Feige is just way too swamped, buried in work, trying to adjust the Thunderbolts, Captain America, doing some more recent reshoots. So those are all the old reports, and by old I mean from a couple of weeks ago, right? But we do have some new updates on this movie. Now, the current updates come from Alex Perez over at the Cosmic Circus, and he says here, so far, what's been out there is accurate. If I had to give my input, it would be that a middle ground is being negotiated by having the story involve both elements. He means multiversal elements and street-level grounded elements. And right now, Sony aiming for a 2025 release, which would be very unlikely to work at this current stage. Now, this is super interesting, but there's way more to the story than just these updates. I want to bring up a report from a couple of weeks ago where Daniel RPK said even after the multiverse saga ends, the Marvel multiverse won't, and Sony is the reason. And it's no coincidence that Sony's pushing for multiversal elements in Spider-Man 4, and they also want the multiverse to last even longer than after Secret Wars, right? I think from Marvel's perspective, they actually wanted to consolidate everything Marvel after Secret Wars. That's the big rumor, that they want a streamlined universe. There's not going to be like a multiverse anymore. It'll just be one universe out there where Marvel is telling stories that'll be this sort of soft, rebooted version of the MCU. And I remember reports from over a year ago coming from Paul from Heavy Spoilers, where he was talking about how he had heard from sources that Marvel and Sony were considering bringing the Venom character from Sony into the MCU proper, and that was going to be something done via Secret Wars. But I think the more recent reports and this friction on Spider-Man 4 specifically hints that Sony does not want to do that, and I can't really blame them. I mean, the Spider-Verse itself is a way for Sony to tap into some really cool ideas, and a lot of the movies they've done via the multiverse, like Spider-Man No Way Home, Into the Spider-Verse, Across the Spider-Verse, these are very successful films for them. So I can absolutely see why Sony doesn't want to just give total control over to Marvel and have everything Spider-Man taking place in live action within this sort of new MCU universe post Secret Wars. Now, I'm going to do some more videos on the plot of Spider-Man 4 and how I think that'll work, because I think Marvel's still going to want to do a lot of the Kingpin street level stuff, and I think there's a number of different ways that Sony could then bring in the multiverse. Alex Perez is saying that if what he is hearing is true, there's like less than 5% chance that Toby and Andrew are actually in the next Tom Holland Spider-Man movie. But there's another new report about Spider-Man 4 with Toby Maguire, which makes me think that some of what we're hearing about right now is actually two different Spider-Man 4s.
What did he say?
Thomas Hayden Church once again said in an interview that he has heard that Sam Raimi's making another Spider-Man movie with Toby Maguire, and that would be the movie that Tom Church would come back for. And I did a video on these exact same rumors over a year ago. This dude was talking about this around the time of Spider-Man No Way Home. He started to talk about it again about a year ago, and here he is now in the present day, in this year of our Lord 2024, once again talking about Sam Raimi doing another Spider-Man movie and him coming back for it. Now, I want to speculate on this because it's super unclear what is going on. Like, is Tom Church just talking out of school? Does he have any idea what he's actually talking about? Who knows? Sam Raimi is absolutely back in the superhero game. There's a lot of rumors suggesting that Sam Raimi could be the guy to direct Avengers 5 and Avengers 6, which would make him far too busy to also do Spider-Man 4, at least you would think, right? So what I think is going on here is both Sony and Marvel desperately want more Sam Raimi Spider-Man. But I think Kevin Feige wants him to do more Spider-Man in Secret Wars and play with those characters, and Toby Maguire is rumored to be the lead or one of the leads of the Secret Wars movie, and perhaps even of both Secret Wars movies. But on the Sony side of things, I think they desperately want to do a Spider-Man 4 with Toby Maguire as the lead, and perhaps have that tie into the multiverse, and perhaps even be a movie that is done over at Sony, but ends up tying back into Secret Wars. So the multiversal elements that will be negotiated into Spider-Man 4 with Tom Holland could introduce the ideas of Spider-Man 4 with Toby Maguire, with Andrew Garfield, and with Sam Raimi at the helm. And there are even more comments being made by insiders that explain that this is real, that these conversations are actually happening. Check out what Alex Perez said when asked about Andrew Garfield returning. He said here, "I really don't want to get anyone's hopes up with this because the chances of him getting a full-blown movie are very minimal. A continuation of his story is 100% coming, but it's not going to warrant another film at this point in time." And then in response to that, he's asked about if that's the same for Toby. And he answered here, "It's a little bit different," which implies that you could be seeing another Toby Spider-Man film. So again, when you combine the fact that Sony's really interested in doing the multiverse, and they actually want to extend the multiverse past Secret Wars so that they can still have fun playing with all the different Spider-Man. You bring in the fact that Thomas Church has been talking about a Spider-Man 4 with Toby and Sam Raimi for years, and he continues to talk about it. Alex Perez is talking about how Andrew Garfield's story is going to be continued, but probably not in a solo film focusing on him. And then when asked if that's the same for Toby, he said, no, that's actually a little bit different for Toby. Well, to me, when you put all of that together, it makes it seem like another Spider-Man movie starring Toby Maguire could be made, which would involve the multiverse. And this also ties into rumors that Toby and Andrew and Tom Holland will appear in the next animated Across the Spider-Verse movie. And I've heard a ton of rumors that that series of films and Miguel O'Hara himself controlling the multiverse was something discussed by Sony and Marvel, and a potential connection to Kang and the multiverse, and that Sony wanted to do their own thing. They wanted to do like a Spider-Geddon type of thing in live action that would tie in to what's going on in the Spider-Verse movies. Now, the last thing we got to talk about in this video all has to do with Venom. Venom 3, the symbiote, the end of Spider-Man 4, and the plans that Marvel and Sony have made for Secret Wars. I think it's pretty obvious if you look at how Venom 2 and Spider-Man No Way Home connected to each other, with the symbiote being left behind in 616 after Eddie Brock is jettisoned back to his own universe, that there's a multiversal connection there. There's something going on, and that seems to be a way that Sony wanted to connect the Venom character to Tom Holland's Spider-Man and the MCU. Well, I've also been told, and I've shared in recent videos, that Venom 3 may well set up Venom going out into the multiverse in order to find Tom Holland's Spider-Man. And this has something to do with Secret Wars. It also has to do with the fact that Tom Holland will have the Venom symbiote by the end of Spider-Man 4. It's kind of a big spoiler as to how that's all going to go down. I've talked talked about it in another video, but suffice it to say, at the end of Spider-Man 4, Tom Holland will be very different, and he will have the Venom symbiote as a suit. It's also interesting to think about that the Spider-Boys themselves in Spider-Man No Way Home all talk about the Venom suit, right? You've got Toby talking about how he once fought an alien. Andrew Garfield's like, I really want to fight an alien. Tom Holland has fought an alien, but he hasn't fought the Venom symbiote, right? So what if the multiversal elements of Spider-Man 4 and the Venom symbiote coming into contact with Tom Holland in Spider-Man 4, plus the ending of Venom 3, what if all of that is to connect together to create this new Spider-Man 4 for Toby Maguire, which would continue Andrew Garfield's story, it would continue the story of Tom Holland's Spider-Man, and continue the story of Eddie Brock, Tom Hardy's Venom, and connect to Secret Wars? Could this be another reason that Sony's really trying to push Kevin Feige to get Spider-Man 4 with Tom Holland out in 2025? Is this potentially why we're hearing reports that the multiverse will still exist past Secret Wars? Because maybe Sony's realizing they can still do that movie with Venom and all the Spider-Boys together, and maybe they're all in Venom symbiote suits and they're in the multiverse, and Sony can technically still do that after Secret Wars. Basically, when you take into account all the different rumors and leaks and kind of things that actors and directors are saying out there, it's painting a crazy fucking picture, dude. Like, there's some wild stuff being cooked up for the multiverse when it comes to Spider-Man, Andrew Garfield, Toby, Venom, even Tom Holland. And I know we're all concerned that Sony's gonna push Marvel into making some bad content, but I think there's some things that are gonna keep them working together, like Miles Morales and the fact that Sony kind of still needs Kevin Feige in the MCU to give them a boost. Check this out though, my comic book Unity is on Kickstarter again. This is just a second chance campaign for people that missed the first one or people that were kind of on the fence about getting this comic. And the thing that's cool is the team and myself have actually completed the first chapter of the 5 chapters that make up the graphic novel, and we're well into chapter 2. And we decided to let people try Unity before they commit to buying Unity. And for the first week of this Kickstarter, you can go over to the Kickstarter and back the early bird special, and then I will send you the first 45 pages of Unity. That's right, for $1 you can get the first 45 pages of Unity in a PDF. You can read it, and if you don't like it, you can even cancel your $1 pledge, and it's no big deal. But I actually think you'll love the first chapter of Unity. I think you'll be so intrigued and interested that you will want to purchase the full thing. So check out Unity if you didn't get a chance to get it in the first Kickstarter. And of course, let me know what you think about all this craziness when it comes to the Spider-Man news. As I always say, I hope you're having an awesome and a nerdy day, and I'll see you in the next video.